There is an occasion for everything, and a time for every activity under heaven. A time to give birth and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to throw stones and a time to gather stones. A time to embrace and a time to avoid embracing. A time to search and a time to count as lost. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to sow. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. What does the worker gain from his struggles? I have seen the task that God has given the children of Adam to keep them occupied. He has made everything appropriate in its time, and he has also put eternity in their hearts. No one can discover the work of God and what he's done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for them than to rejoice and enjoy the good life. It is also the gift of God whoever eats, drinks, and enjoys all his efforts. I know that everything God does will last forever. There is no adding to it or taking from it. God works so that people will be in awe of him. Whatever is, has already been, and whatever will be, already is. However, God seeks justice for the persecuted. That's Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 15. I am 23 years old. I'm going to turn 24 in a little over a month. So some people might think, what in the world do I have to say about patience or about time if I haven't even lived long enough to understand what that means? But I think everybody has something to learn from somebody, and this is kind of a lesson that I'm learning right now. And I think a lot of these videos are probably going to be things that I'm currently learning, things that I'm currently living in. And so this video is probably me going to be speaking to myself more than anybody else, but if anybody else gets something from it, then that's great too. Everybody always wants things to be different than they are right now, and that starts at the beginning of our lives. We always do it. Kids want to be adults, and adults want to be kids. Single people wish that they were married, and married people wish that they were single. People who have kids can't wait until the kids grow up, get out of the house so that they can have more free time, and then once the kids do grow up and get out of the house, they wish that they were back to being little again. And there's this constant state of either wishing that today was tomorrow or that it was yesterday. But nobody ever wants today to be today. If you think about all of our thoughts, the vast majority of our thoughts are either about the future or the past, and never really the present. And so I want to talk about forcing things before their time, or wishing that the time that you're in right now was different. I just recently graduated college. I graduated about 7 months ago. But going into my freshman year was really when my life started to change. I really started to follow the Lord going into my freshman year of college. And everything started to change, I started to get a godly community for the first time in my life. I started to really repent of a lot of the sin that I was living in. I started to grow in understanding and really reading the Word, and felt like that I was just really maturing, and I was, growing in wisdom, all these things. And, by the time that I was probably 20 years old, I just really thought, man, I've got things really figured out. I'm a man now. And I started to pray to the Lord for all these things that I wanted. Really want to be a husband and a father. So I thought, yeah, I'm ready for a wife. Lord, it's time to give me a wife now. And soon it'll be time to start my career. It'll start to be time to start having children, to buy my first house, start a ministry, get influence, build my reputation. I really wanted all these things to start coming together because I kind of felt like that I was just really ready for them, Felt like that I was just ready to take on the world. Well, fast forward 5 years, 4.5 years. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. I'm about to start my career. I still don't have the ministry that I want someday. A lot of those prayers are still unanswered. And I kind of want to talk about how much that I think that we suffer, how much we struggle, and how much of our suffering and struggle comes from trying to force things that are not ready to be here yet. We live in like a culture and a society that is constantly trying to make everything more efficient. We're constantly trying to arrive to things quicker and get jobs done quicker and to make things happen quicker. We've been doing that since the beginning of time. I mean, that's what the purpose of inventions and of new tools and of new anything is, to make something more efficient. Is to make a job, get a job done quicker. We went from horses to cars to get to places quicker. You get the gist. And I'm not saying these things are bad. Obviously, these are awesome blessings and inventions that have really helped us a lot. But our goal really all the time for everything is just to get everything quicker, and now we have it to where we have DoorDash where we can have dinner ready and at the door in 15 minutes, and we have grocery pickup where we can go to the store and immediately have our grocery trip done, and just all these things. We're constantly making everything faster, and it creates like this attitude of urgency. And so we're urgent to get everything right now. We all strive for constant, instant gratification. We have cell phones where I can literally communicate with somebody across the world in less than a second. And we have planes. I can literally get to the other side of the planet in less than a day, which is just insane when you really sit down and think about it. But it just creates this attitude of urgency in us, and it kind of gives us like this sense of entitlement almost, and that everything should work this way. We should get everything instantly. Everything should happen right now. But the problem with that is that whenever there's so many things that we can invent to make a lot of jobs quicker, there's a lot of things that you can't get done any faster. There are a lot of things that you can't obtain any quicker. You can't make more efficient. And processes that you just cannot speed up. And so our attitude of urgency can start to get us into trouble whenever that we are seeking these things that we don't have, or seeking to get back something that we used to have. Like if you're just starting out at the gym, you can go to the gym today and you can work out just as hard as you possibly can. I mean, you can give it your absolute everything. You can spend hours and hours and hours at the gym today. And you can go home and you can slam a protein shake, 2 protein shakes. You can get a great night's rest, and you're gonna wake up tomorrow morning and you're gonna look in the mirror and you're not even gonna be able to tell that you did anything. There's nothing that you can do. It doesn't matter how hard that you work today. There's nothing that you can do to get jacked by tomorrow. And if you seek wisdom, you can study philosophy, and you can read scripture, and you can listen to sermons, and you can do all this stuff just all day long if you want to. And you might learn a thing or two that you can apply tomorrow. But wisdom and understanding is not something that you can obtain overnight. All of us are just always trying to strive and do everything we can to obtain something that we don't have, something that we want right now. And whenever we don't get that, it creates a sense of discontentment, probably anger, bitterness, maybe even jealousy. You're looking to other people and you're seeing other people who have these things and have the life that you're wanting. You're always wanting your life to be somebody else's, and you're wanting somebody else's life to be yours. So going back to my story, I really started to do this. I started to just do everything that I could to try and find my wife. To start this life that I wanted, to get these things that I wanted to have, and I wanted to do it right now. I wanted it to happen at that moment. And I can tell you now, as I still seek some of these things, that not only am I not that much closer to obtaining any of them, I didn't speed up the process to getting any of them, I didn't make it any quicker, but I left myself with hurt. I have struggled. I have been jealous. I have been angry at God. It's caused really no benefit at all, and lots of pain and toil that I really did not need to go through. And I think that a lot of people kind of just do this all their life. They always want today to be tomorrow. And now, looking back on some of those times that I spent in college, 4 years later, I spent so much time wanting things to be different, and now that things are different, I look back and I miss a lot of the things that I had at that time. And I think that that's the kind of the thing about the glory days, is you never really know that good times are happening until they're over. And I remember I used to live in my dorm, and I used to have roommates and surrounded by a bunch of guys, and I kind of spent a lot of time wishing that I was in an apartment, and that I had time alone. And now I've got that apartment, and I live by myself, and I spend a lot of time wishing that I could go back into the dorm where I'm surrounded by other guys and we're joking around and having fun. And sometimes I wish I can go back and the biggest problem I have is the couple of classes that I had that day, or a test that I had to take. And I think that that's the truth about a lot of the times that we finally get these things that we want, or we get to the place that we thought that we wanted to be, and suddenly we realize that it doesn't give us what we thought that it would. And not only that, but we actually no longer have some of the things that we used to, and we wish that we could have them back. And so that's what we're always trying to do, going back to Ecclesiastes. The time that we're in now, we just do everything that we can to make it end. If it's a time to search, we want to give up. We want to make it as a time to count as lost. Or if it's a time to give up something to count as lost, we think it's a time to search. If it's a time to avoid embracing, we want to embrace. If it's a time to tear, we want a time to sow. We just want today to end. And I know it's really difficult sometimes, because somebody who's watching this video might be having a really good day, and somebody else who's watching this video might be having a really crappy day. So it's hard whenever today really sucks to not want today to end, And so I'm not really wanting to give the typical spiel that most people do whenever they're talking about patience and they're talking about timing. Usually whenever you talk about something that you want that you don't have right now, the typical answer is going to be, God's timing is perfect, and just be patient and just hang in there. And all those things are good. I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing or whatever. Those things are true. I do think that God's timing is perfect. But I think that a lot of the times our focus is on the wrong thing completely. Our focus is all about things that we don't have or no longer have. And I think the point of Ecclesiastes here is to think about some of the things that we have right now. It says, I know that there is nothing better for them to rejoice and enjoy the good life. It is also the gift of God whenever anyone eats, drinks, and enjoys all of his efforts. There's things right now that you have that you used to just want so badly. Things that you have and things that you're living right now that are answered prayers. Things that you prayed for so desperately at one time. and now you have them, and you don't even really think about it. Maybe you don't have something anymore that you used to have, and now you miss it. Now you wish you had it back. Now you wish you had one more day, one more opportunity. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a thing, maybe it's whatever, but you would just give anything for one more day to be in the place that you used to be. And when you were in that place, you probably were thinking that you wanted to be somewhere else. And I just wonder what would happen if all of us just gave it everything we had to try to focus on what is happening right now and what we have right now. So maybe the whole point is to not to constantly be striving for the things that you don't have, but is to answer a phone call from your mom whenever that you're kind of just annoyed and you don't really feel like talking to her, or inviting that friend that you haven't hung out with in a while out to dinner, or to enjoy the job that you're at right now, even the job that you might hate and you're constantly hoping ends and you can go on to another one. Think about the blessing that it is that you even have a job, and the coworkers that you're around right now, the place that you're in is teaching you something, is giving you something, and you have something right now that is a blessing to you that you're just pretty much completely neglecting and overlooking. So I know that this message might not be super different than anybody else talking about patience. They're going to tell you to write a list of 10 things that you're grateful for, and meditate on the things that you have, or find 5 things that you enjoy doing and do it today, or just, any of those like typical self-help things. And I do think that you should do that, and that's great. But I think that we just need to change our whole mindset and what it is that we are focusing on, what it is that we are looking at. And maybe the answer to all of our problems isn't in tomorrow. Maybe that the whole point is that you're supposed to be learning the lesson that you're being taught today, right now. I know that can be really difficult, especially if things just really suck right now. Maybe it feels like there's nothing that you can find that you're grateful for. Maybe you just have nothing going on for you right now. Maybe things just aren't working. Maybe you're just struggling. And then I think the best advice that I could give you is don't stop giving it everything you have to make it all go away. To just make everything better right now. If you're heartbroken right now, stop doing everything you can to fix everything and to heal immediately. Some times just need to be sat in. Some things need to linger, and sometimes that hurts, but we have to go through those times in order to get to the good ones. There's a time to tear down, not just a time to build up. There's a time to tear, and it's not always a time to sow. And so if you're being torn down right now, if everything is falling apart right now, if everything just sucks, stop focusing so much on trying to change the way that things are. Be sad. Have a crappy day. Fall apart. And I know that might not be super encouraging. And if it's not, I'm sorry. Just like I said, you can go to the gym today and work out super hard and you're not going to be jacked in the morning. You can do everything you can to heal and to put everything back together right now, but it's just not going to happen. It can't happen overnight. And sometimes you've just got to sit with stuff, Sometimes you've just got to be sad. Sometimes you've just got to be not okay. just don't make the mistake of trying to constantly striving to change the time that you're in, trying to force things before their time. Because the whole point is that every time is necessary. Every time is necessary. You can't skip over it. You can't go around it. You have to go through it. It's a necessary time that you're in for whatever reason, for whatever lesson, whatever thing that you're supposed to learn, whatever. It's necessary. You have to go through the thing that you're going through right now, because that's what time it is. But this time is not going to last. There are different times. Things will change. Things will get better. Things might get worse again. Things will go up. Things will go back down. You'll get some things. You'll lose some things. Just stop trying to change the time that you're in. Sit in it. Embrace it. Understand what you're supposed to be learning. Understand what it's teaching you. And be appreciative of that thing. It's so hard to be appreciative when things hurt really bad. But there is something that is happening to you right now that is necessary. You're learning something. You're growing in a certain area. An idol is being taken away from you. You're growing in more dependency on the Lord. Something is happening. Hold on to that. Stop grasping at things that you don't have. Stop grasping at things that aren't there. Hold on to something that is here right now, today. And I think that if we all do that, if we all try our best to do that more, we will be more content. We will be more at peace. We will be more patient. More all the things. It's a lot easier said than done. And this video isn't going to fix all of your problems, and it's not going to fix all of my problems. But maybe it can be a bit of a change of mindset. So hopefully that encourages somebody. Hopefully it helps somebody. If you're in a difficult time right now, if you're in a time of struggle, I'm sorry. I'm praying for you. I hope that it gets better. It will get better. It will get better. God bless everybody.